What's up, guys? This is going to be my full autograph collection, and I have DVDs, figures, magazines, programs, 8x10s, and cards. And I'll just give you a little story about where I met them, what the experience was like, so get prepared for a long video. So I'm just going to start off right now with cards. I got 4 of them. I'm not going to show you the autograph cards I've gotten out of pulling them out of packs, because it's not as cool. So first one, Vickie Guerrero. I got this card signed at Mania Access. This is blue bordered, numbered 1988 out of 2011. Met her, just told her how awesome it was, that she's still getting heat, and she's just was a nice lady. Next one, Ezekiel Jackson. See that up there, number 1264 out of 2011. And I didn't really say anything to him, just asked him to sign the card and the program, because he signed both, but you'll see that soon. Santino, this is black border, number 158 out of 999. Met him at the WrestleMania Superstore, and he asked him, I don't really know what to say to him, because Matt already had asked him about the honkometer, and Mikey was going to say something about Santina, so I really had nothing for him. And he just asked me if I travel far, and I told him I was from Connecticut. And then the last one, yeah, come on, Jack Swagger. Met him at Access at WrestleMania this year, and he was totally high. Zeb probably was high too, but I saw Swagger. He looked at the card, and he just said, "Cool card," and he looked at me, and I just told him how much I loved his stuff, and he didn't really seem to acknowledge what I was saying. But yeah, that's it for the cards. And this was a swatch card, if you couldn't tell, from a t-shirt he wore in San Antonio, Texas on December 21st, 2010. Next, I'll go to the 8x10s. Alright, first one is Primo and Epico. It's kind of hard to see. You can see that they signed it, but it's glare. Let's see if we can take these out. Yeah, there we go. Oh, glare because it's glossy. But there we go. Primo and Epico. Told them that I think they should be pushed because they're a good tag team, and all of the tag teams need to be pushed. And they agreed, and they told me Primo told me he was trying to just get the paychecks by getting on TV, so I don't really know. AJ, met her, told her that I was basically in love with her. No, I said, I don't really remember what I said. I was just it's glad to see a diva who's actually a fan, and that I can't wait for her to actually start wrestling. And she said, yeah, me too. And when I met her at from the last video, she told me I told her it was nice to see a fan in the ring, or it's nice to see her actually being a fan, and she told me she was a fan of me. Didn't get an autograph for them though, because I just let Matt get 2, because he had the 8x10 and the figure. Next, Michael McGillicuddy, now Curtis Axel. So yeah, Matt said it would be stupid to get this 8x10, but it paid off. Yeah, I just asked him if he liked being called McGillicuddy, and he said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Probably not." And he said, "Yeah, boss won't let me be Joe Hennig." Next, I got Jay Lethal at WrestleCon, WrestleMania weekend. Once I saw him there, after witnessing his match at ROH, I was just I have to meet this guy now, because that was one of the best matches. And I told him that. I was I don't know how you withstood all those finishers from Elgin. And he just laughed it off, and he was a pretty nice guy. Next, I'll do DVDs. First one, Kane, Unforgiven 2004. I asked him which mask was his favorite, and he said the first one because it was new and cool. And then I asked him if he'd rather wear the mask or not wear the mask, and he said, he's it doesn't matter to me, but I don't like wearing it out in the heat like today. And then he laughed. So I always say to Matt, I made Kane laugh, even though he kind of made himself laugh. But anyway, next, Samoa Joe. Met him at Legends of the Ring, and I just told him I liked this match and that he always puts on good matches. Didn't really have much to say to him. But yeah, good one to have. Signature looks really cool. Next is Kevin Steen. Got him to sign Final Battle 2012. Picked this up at the show at Supercard of Honor that he lost the title to Jay Briscoe. I got this right when I got there because I knew I wanted to meet Kevin Steen, so I bought this, and then I got a Steen autograph and told him that basically the only reason I'm going is to see him wrestle, which was pretty true, besides the fact that all my friends were going, and I got the ticket, but I really just wanted to see him wrestle live, and he felt really appreciative, and he's a really good guy. I'm sad to see he lost the title on the only show I went to. Next, I got ECW One Night Stand signed by RVD. Asked him to write Mr. Pay-Per-View. He said, yeah. I was just like, I'm sure you get this a lot, but this match was fucking awesome. And as Chris would say, he just goes, yeah, man, special night. Next, WrestleMania 21 got signed by Kurt Angle. This was at Legends of the Ring. Me and Matt kind of went at the same time. We were just talking about how we saw his match with Eddie at WrestleMania 20, and it was awesome. Like, live. And he seemed a little drunk, or I don't know. But he was really nice. The next one, CM Punk. One of my favorite, my favorite DVD that's signed, but came with the worst experience I've had. Asked him if he's gonna do, if they're gonna let him do an Iron Man match with Bryan or something like that. And he's like, "What do you mean, let me? I'm not in prison or anything." I was like, "Well, I basically would have just, if it wasn't CM Punk, I probably would have just been like, well, why haven't you? You always complain about not getting what you want because they won't let you, so, but whatever." Next, I'll do magazines. First one is Lita to Alex. Lita XXOO. I said to her, this was at WrestleCon, I said to her, I hope they put you in the Hall of Fame next year because you deserve it. And she said, yeah, I hope that they don't wait a while because it would be too predictable because they just put Trish in. And I said, I hope they just put you in now. Next, Kurt Angle again. Smudged a little. And you guys probably have heard the story from my WrestleMania videos, but I'll tell it again. I basically got in line, and as I put myself down, some other guy came up and basically cut me, and he's like, I just want a handshake and talk. Just want a handshake from Kurt. He talked to him about Pro Wrestling Syndicated for about 5 minutes, and I'm just waiting there. Is he signing my thing? He signed it Kurt Angle. And I was like, can you make it to Alex? And then he puts Alex, and then the guy's still talking to him. And I was like, I have a question. And then, like, he cut me off again. And Kurt's just listening to this guy, and the lady was awesome. She was like, oh, you want to ask him something? I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I don't want to let this guy ruin your moment with Kurt. So I waited, and I asked him if he missed doing comedy, like the comedy stuff he did in WWE, and he said, oh yeah, a lot. And I was like, are you going to do it in TNA? Or he's like, no, they don't have the creative ability or the brains to do it or something like that. And I was like, well, you should come back. Are you planning on it? And he looked at me, and then it was like, oh, you probably can't answer that. I get it. He's like, there's a good chance you'll see me back soon. I was marking out. So apparently he told a lot of people that he's coming back. Next, John Nitro, a.k.a. John Morrison. He was cool. Didn't really know what to say. I should have asked him where I'm gonna eat your lunch came from, because it's a little inside joke between me and Matt. We always say that because we have no idea what that means, but we didn't. Matt was like, tell him that his spot at the Royal Rumble was better than Kofi, and John was like, you like that? And he told some story about his friend. I don't really know. Next, Lex Luger talked to him about some Sabres hockey. That's about it. And that was also at WrestleCon. All three of those. Next is X-Pac. He seemed pretty fucked up when we met him, but he was really nice. I told him I liked his tweets about TNA. Basically, I'm bashing it, and he's like, and I was like, do you want to be a booker or something? He's like, no, it's a lot easier to be a jackass from my home, on my couch tweeting, and I just laughed. And then New Age Outlaws. Just told him I've been a fan of DX for a while, forever, basically. Yeah, they were nice guys. I would love to get China and Triple H to sign this to complete it. That would be one of my favorite pieces. if I got it complete, because DX has always been one of my favorites as a kid. Next, a little beat up. It's a little beat up right here. Kelly Kelly Maxim magazine. Yeah, she was cool. She also signed my program. She asked me. She was like, "Do you also want me to sign the program?" Because I had it in my hand. I said, "Yeah, sure." I put it down, and she signed it. She was looking hot. This was at SummerSlam Access, by the way. So yeah, that's about it. This is a little beat up because one of Matt's friends gave it to Matt, but Matt had a new one, so he gave it to me. So yeah, I figured why not get this signed. Next, I'll do programs, and then onto the figures, which is definitely by far the most. I got 3 different programs. This is an old one. Not sure from what year, if it says it anywhere. 2011, alright. And first one, Big Show. Met him, well, didn't really meet him. We were on the last, me, Mikey, and Matt were on the last row of the floor in SmackDown. This was before Survivor Series. And I ran up to the front and held it out, and someone had a Sharpie, and he signed it, like, as he was going around the ring after the dark match, because he was the face going into it. And yeah, he was one of the bigger, he was facing Mark Henry for the title. I said, good luck against Mark Henry, basically. And he was like, yeah, he's fucking huge when he's right in front of you. Then we waited outside, and we saw Santino. You can see the O right here. Yeah, Santino, there you go. Oh, the glare is killer. But, yeah, pen kind of died a little, but you can see it in person. He didn't talk outside the show because I don't think he wanted to do his accent. But yeah, I just asked him to sign it, and he did. And lastly, she was driving away, and I asked her to roll down a window because she stopped in traffic. Rosa Mendez. It's kind of sideways, I think. I can't really make it out. But yeah, that scribble is her signature. Yeah. She was nice enough to roll down her window. Alright, and next program. I'll do the WrestleMania one next because it's got less autographs. WrestleMania program, so all these were at Access. Let's see. First person, Big E Langston. Didn't have anything else for him to sign, obviously, besides the program, so I got him in that. Told him that I found it funny that they put him in the promo of Rock Cena when he was lifting like benching 500 pounds or something like that with Cena, and now he's like a bad guy in the next year's WrestleMania. It's funny. And he said, "Yeah, I like that too." Or it's like, "Yeah, you like that?" And we shared a good laugh. This next page got 4 autographs. Ezekiel Jackson. Like I said, the same thing with the card. I asked him to sign both, but that was basically it. Bo Dallas just said, hope to see you more on TV or something. I don't even know if I said anything. But if it was something like that. Unico and Camacho. Funny story about that. Matt gets in early because he has a VIP, right? So instead of going to the VIP, he goes into a line, which is smarter because he's guaranteed to get the VIP if he gets there before it closes. So he said, why not just go in someone else's line? So he was the first one in line because they get in early, and they said it's Unico and Camacho or something, and then they changed it to Jack Swagger. So he's like, all right, I'll stand in first line for Jack Swagger. That's pretty cool. And then we get there, and they're like, we're not sure who it is, blah blah blah. And then they come, they're like, all right, they're here. You can go in like 5 minutes or something. And we're like, is it 2 Mexican guys or like 2 white guys? They're like, yeah, the Hispanic guys. And we're like, fuck. But we got them and then moved on because first in line. So next, Michael McGillicuddy, same thing. Got him twice. A lot of these guys were easy to get twice because you just put the card or the 8x10 with the page and they'll sign both because they're cool. Zeb, he also seemed high. Like I said, I told him his promos are amazing. I was kind of rushed, and then I got out of there. He said thanks. Okay. Sasha Banks. Me and Dr. Perfection were in line. I don't remember who else was there. And we thought that was like Eden Styles or something, even though she's not in the company. And we were like, I don't really know who that is, but we saw someone else get an autograph. So I got her on the Fruity Pebbles page. And she's like, oh, I'm in that book. And I was like, oh, really? Where? And then she like found it. And I didn't know who it was, so I was like, oh, cool. Sasha Banks. She signed it in green, so it's cool. Next is my man, Bray Wyatt. Asked him when he was coming up, and he said, hopefully, like, tomorrow or Monday. And I was like, there's no way you're coming up during WrestleMania, and there's no way you're coming up Monday after. So, yeah, thanks for lying. But he's like, yeah, hopefully soon, so. Well, now he's coming up soon, so that's awesome, because the vignettes are awesome. Vicky and Brad, this time, Vicky, I said the same thing as the car, it was the same time. Brad Maddox, told him, another funny story, asked him, actually, how it felt to get beat up by Ryback, and he said, what time, and I said, well, both, I guess, because you got beat up pretty badly either way, and he's like, well, you're my least favorite person now. Dropped the program behind the desk, he said, nope, can't come back here. So the girl had to go back there and get my program. And then Krasky was like, oh, you're my favorite wrestler now. Here's the Fruity Pebbles page with Sasha Banks again. And Scott Stanford. Met Scott Stanford right there. Met Scott Stanford outside of the, he was actually the first wrestler we met that weekend. He was standing outside of the WWE store as we were waiting in line for Santino. So, yeah, got a picture with him and ran back to the car, got his autograph. And that's it for this program. Yeah. Next, the SummerSlam program. Well, the program they were giving out during SummerSlam. And this has by far the most signatures in it. First one, Kane, same story as before. Put the DVD slip over this, and then he signed both because he's the man. Next is Alberto and Ricardo. As they were coming out, if you saw the SummerSlam videos on Wrestling Fan 1994's channel, which is my old one, obviously, you saw that they came out right next to us, and we were all chanting, like, Del Rio, and Ricardo. It's funny, every time I chanted, Ricardo was like, no, vote or cheer for him, not me. It was really funny, and they were quiet guys, but they were really nice. Next, Cody Rhodes, who also crossed off Sin Cara's face, because I told him he was my guy, he's the man, and his line was by far the longest, because he was taking pictures with everyone, and he was hugging everyone, and he was talking to everyone. He was standing the whole time, too. And so he was one of the nicest guys I've ever met. Next, Tenzai and Sakamoto. Didn't say anything to Sakamoto. And I was told Tenzai, like, good to see him back in WWE. And he was like, wow, no one's ever said that to me. No, not really, but it's kind of, he was just like, oh, thanks. Kelly, signed in silver, same thing. Layla. She was doing a photo op with Caitlyn. And I didn't get in line. I waited because once all the lines are closed, you just wait by someone, and they'll sign for everybody after. Except Mark Henry's a fucking douche. You know, I didn't ignore everyone. He just walked the other way. So yeah, Layla signed. Alicia Fox waited in her line. Pretty short. Didn't really say anything. Said nice to meet you and walked on. Next is Dolph Ziggler. Told him I'm in love with him, basically. Yeah, he was nice. From Tonga, he was doing a photo op. Waited after because the line was closed. He signed and took a picture of me. I took a picture of the front cam. He was a nice guy. Oksana and Cesaro. Cesaro, I asked if when Cassius Ohno gets called up, or I don't know if I said Chris Hero or Cassius Ohno. I think I said Hero. It's like, once Hero gets called up, are you planning on teaming with him? And he said, I'm planning on winning the United States title. And I said, well, I hope you do. And then Oksana said, "Hey, how you doing?" That was it. Ted DiBiase asked him how he's doing because he was injured. They said he's ready to return soon. Next, Primo and Epico. Didn't say much to them this time. Yeah. Rosa wasn't there, which was annoying. Um, Next, the Usos. Funny thing about this is there was a picture taken of me shaking one of their hands, and it got put on WWE.com. I screenshotted it. It's still on my computer. But yeah, told them that I'm actually a big fan of their tag team, and that they deserve the titles. And I told them they should have won their first match against the Hart Dynasty when they lost, which made no sense. For a third time, Vicky Guerrero. Just told her how insanely over she was. She told me she was a nice lady, and I said I know. Justin Gabriel, which looks like J.G. Uso. I don't really know. Told him, or I don't know if he was signing with Tyson Kidd. I don't remember if I told him or Kidd. I think it was Kidd who did the spot at Survivor Series. That was awesome. Mason Ryan, again, he was doing a Money in the Bank photo op, which didn't make sense. But I waited for him after, and he signed. Sucks that he's in FCW again, or NXT. And there's the Caitlyn autograph. Oh, there's the Caitlyn autograph. Signed in pen, so you can barely see it, but you can see it in person. Yeah, I met her at the same time as Layla. Natalia, yeah, met her as she was walking out of her signing too. Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex. They were awesome. Told them I love their tag team. Sucks that Rex is gone now. And Tyson Kidd. Yeah, I just told him I like the spot. And Tony Chimel, who was doing the in-ring announcing for some parts. Sometimes it was him. Sometimes it was Justin Roberts. And I told when he was walking by, I asked him to come over. Me and Matt. And he's like, he saw Matt's Devil's head. And he was like, "Oh, Devils." And he's like, "I'm a Flyers fan." And me and Matt both were like, "Fuck that. Fuck the Flyers." And then there's, yeah, that was basically our conversation. Alright. Now to the figures. Alright. First, from Legends of the Ring, got a Matt Hardy autograph. It was either, I had $10 left, I think, and it was either this or Matt Morgan. And I talked to Matt Morgan about being from my town, but I figured Matt Hardy is worth more, and he was a nice guy. And I talked to him again at WrestleCon about Ring of Honor and how Elgin and Lethal's match was awesome, and about how he getting his T-shirt thrown back and how he loved it. So it was pretty funny. He's a pretty nice guy. I'm trying to get to some of the better ones for last, but this one, Unico, probably his only figure he's ever signed, because I'm probably the only one that has one, because Matt got it for me for Christmas as a joke. And I got it signed because Matt waited in line for them. You know the story. Next, I bought this figure for $5 at Legends of the Ring, and then waited in line for Mick Foley. I don't know how that signature says Mick Foley, but it says to Alex. Best luck, I think. He asked me what my name was. I said Alex. He said, and then he talked to me about his comedy show in Long Island. He asked me where you were from, and I said Connecticut. He's like, "Oh, ferry boat away from Long Island. I'm doing this comedy show, blah blah." And he looked at me and says, "Is it Chris?" And I said, "No, it's Alex." And he said, "Oh, okay." And then he wrote to Alex. Nice guy though. Next, another Legends of the Ring, Road Warrior Animal. He was like eating or something at the time that I like got this autograph. So like I gave it to the guy gave it to him. I didn't really say anything to him. Didn't really have anything to say to him, so it's not that big of a deal. Next, Legends of the Ring again. Brutus Beefcake. Matt and Ramey, one of Matt's friends. Ramey Rants on Twitter. That's his favorite of all time. Brutus Beefcake, or one of his favorites. And he met him and got a picture. Long story short, picture didn't save on Matt's phone. Matt felt terrible. But Matt also met him and got his autograph, so I figured why not wait in line and get it too, because I found this figure for cheap enough at one of the tables. It's a little beat up, but whatever. Next, Legends of the Ring again. Sunny, one of 3,000. It's one of the first figures I got. Because I remember I got this on the Taz one of 250 or something like that. I was like, oh, it's rare, but really it's not rare at all because no one wants this figure. But she signed it in pink, Sunny Star, 2011 Hall of Fame. Okay, next one. Met him at Legends of the Ring again. Bobby Lashley, signed in silver, Unmatched Fury. Bought this figure at a mall for $5 that I found in a random toy store. Said, well, I'm not going to beat that. Might as well meet Bobby Lashley now. Next, Legends of the Ring. Maurice, looking sexy as hell. Had her dog with her. Didn't really say much to her. BTW, which another one's coming up, so be prepared for a day in the life of Diesel. Met him. It was just cool to meet him. He's actually a nice guy. All the times Matt's met him, this is the first time I met him. And I bought the figure for cheap. And so I was like, I might as well meet him now. Either that or at WrestleCon. And I think he was cheaper at Legends, or I just wanted, or not Legends, cheaper at BTW, or I just didn't want to carry all this extra figures if I can just get them out of the way. And he also signed a K Nash at the bottom, which was cool. It was funny, Matt was talking to him about his Kevin Nash figure, the orange one. That's kind of hard to find. And he said, he's like, yeah, I was looking at this one, and it's like going for like $100 or something. Who the fuck would want that for $100? And we all just laughed. Because there are people that do that. And I got Ric Flair on Match Fury at the same BTW event. Just told him it was great to see him back, and I liked what he was doing with The Miz, and he told me he'd be on that Monday, and he was. And yeah, I kind of wish he signed it in silver, but you can see it perfectly, so I'm not really mad at all. No, blue would have been nice. I've seen people get it in blue. Next, WrestleCon. I got Cowboy Bob Orton. Told him the stuff him and Randy were doing during WrestleMania 21 was awesome. It's one of my favorite storylines to this day. And Mr. Wonderful didn't have anything to say, just wanted him to sign the figure, but he was a really nice guy. Let's see, got 5 left. Next one, so you've seen this before, because you've probably seen the only other video on this channel. Zack Ryder, met him at the store, in the Superstore during WrestleMania in Dolph. I met him like last week at the mall, or at Garden City Mall. Yeah, you know the story about that. Next, Bret Hart, met him at WrestleCon, asked him how Tyson Kidd was doing. He said he's recovering, and I said he's the most like underrated guy, and he said yeah, he's the most underappreciated guy too. The first autograph I've ever got in person, or probably first autograph I've gotten from a wrestler, Triple H. I'm mad at myself that I ripped off the, you can see that the Toys R Us sticker was there. They're only at Toys R Us. Because I thought that was stupid at the time, and now I don't. But I met him at a Walmart. Was it a Walmart? Yeah, it was Walmart in Norwalk, Connecticut. He was doing a promotion for the Chaperone, so you had to buy the DVD. I kept it, and I liked it. It wasn't terrible. Matt returned it, and Mikey, I think, returned it. Or Mikey didn't even buy it, I don't think. But either way, Matt returned it after, and yeah, it was good times. So that'll always be special to me because that was the first one, and it was free. Next, last two, Daniel Bryan. He was signing at SummerSlam Access. Got him in line, asked him how it feels that Yes like caught on, and asked him if it was like planned or if he it was just like the what chance and they just caught on. He said yeah, it just caught on. And yeah, that's also one of my favorite figures. And this one is probably the hardest to get. Met him at WrestleMania Access. Christian looks amazing. The autograph looks awesome, not smudged. You can clearly see it, and it was just unreal that we met him. The way we got to it, it's a funny story. Matt got in early again. He was one of the first 10 in line, first 6 in line for Christian. He was like, it's Christian, hurry up, get here. And then he told us where it was, like Superstar signing something, like 2, I think. And so me and Mikey When we got there, the line was all the way down for general admission. We just stood in the middle, like worked our way in, and then when I got to the zigzag and like gates, we just opened one and cut through like two, and we just kept running, and we went all the way, and we met Christian. Matt, luckily, two people next to Matt left to go meet AJ, and he had two seats open, so not gonna get better than that. Seventh person to meet Christian that day. It was awesome. So you meet Christian, and you move on to the next one. So yeah, that's all the autographs I have. Feel free to make a video response showing your collection, because I love seeing everyone's collection on here. So yeah.